Assalamu alaikum, Elena here, the Muslim travel girl. With everything going on around the world and the fact that we cannot travel because it's vital we keep safe, I thought, why not create a series of all the places I would love to visit once this pandemic is over and we can travel? So here we are. Welcome to your Muslim friendly version of Wanderlust Wednesday, where every Wednesday we'll interview another awesome Muslim traveler about their experiences in a city around the world. Some of the people we're meeting are either living in the city or have visited as Muslim travelers. So hopefully we'll get a lot of insider tips as well. We will ask them all the vital questions on how Muslim friendly the city is, if they found difficulty finding halal food or mosques to pray, and of course other things such as transportation, local tips that I'm sure you want to know before you visit a city. The questions are pretty standard each week and you will find them in the description below, so hopefully you can follow easier this way. In this series, my hope is to inspire you to visit a new place once we can travel again and enjoy them equipped with new information. So I'm so excited to introduce this series to you, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you very much for coming to another episode, Wanderlust Wednesday. Now, I have an amazing guest that's come so far, all the way from Japan. Assalamu alaikum, Nazaya. I hope you... Thank you so much for joining me. Nazaya is a content creator. She lives in Japan and she has a YouTube and an Instagram. And I'm just going to leave the links below so you can definitely check her out, inshallah. So today we're talking about Japan and we're talking about Tokyo, right?
Yes.
How Muslim friendly it is. I'm so excited because, as I mentioned before, I actually did a year of Japanese when I was 18 and I love the experience. It's so very different. And since then, it has actually been one of the countries I want to visit. And for some reason, it's just never materialized. I actually had a ticket booked many years ago that I had to cancel. But I so want to go. So I'm looking forward to all your tips about Tokyo and exploring and the Muslim friendly options. So without further ado, let's get started, inshallah.
Okay.
Right. Would you say that Tokyo is a Muslim friendly destination?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Especially because in these recent years, Japan is very Muslim friendly because they're increasing the halal restaurants, also the prayer spaces, and also they have Muslim friendly services. For example, hijab I'm wearing right now, this is dyed with the Japanese traditional way. This is called Aizomi hijab.
Wow, amazing.
You can call this Japanese blue.
Yes.
Because there is no blue like this in other countries. So they are very Muslim friendly and very kind, of course. Like, they are very great hospitality and it's a very must visit place.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know that Japan in the past couple of years, like more than a couple of years actually, they have really tried to, become very Muslim friendly and they have all these fantastic things. And I know some started like Kyoto, I think they had a massive campaign, and I know Tokyo has done something similar of like inviting Muslims and opening prayers at the airport. So that's a fantastic thing. And I think, inshallah, for me, I want to bring more European Muslims rather than, because I know they constrain a lot of South Asia, just because it's such a diverse culture. And, studying that language and the way the thing, it's not the same way as because one of the reasons why I found it so hard and so fascinating at the same time is because even the thought process is so different than English, for example, or Greek for me, that the structure of sentences and everything. And as I was saying before, until I actually started learning Japanese, I never realized how different how associated is culture and language and the different perspectives of it. So for me it's fascinating. So I'm really like looking forward to visit. So if I'm going to visit, what are the top 5 things that a Muslim traveler should do in Tokyo?
Okay, so the first place you have to visit when you are in Tokyo is the Tokyo Chami Mosque. Maybe you have ever heard, maybe once, that is one of the biggest mosques in Japan, and also a very beautiful mosque in the Asia. And the beautiful Turkish decoration, and it's very huge, and everyone is very kind. Oh, and it's a very nice place to visit. It's a must-visit place in Tokyo. It's the very first place you have to visit when you just land in Tokyo.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and then after Tokyo Jami, maybe you can visit the Asakusa. It's a downtown area of Tokyo where you can find the beautiful Sensoji Temple, and it's also known as an ancient temple in Japan. And this is also a very popular sightseeing spot in Tokyo already for the Muslim travelers. And also in the Asakusa, just in front of the Sensoji Temple, there is a shopping street called Nakamise Street. So you can enjoy shopping and get some street food, and it's very nice, very interesting.
That's fantastic.
And okay, and the third is the Tokyo Sky Tree.
Oh,
Yeah, the Tokyo Sky Tree is just located close to the Asakusa, to the Sensoji Temple. And it is also known as one of the tallest towers in Tokyo, except the Tokyo Tower, of course. And they have a super fast elevator. As
wow.
you can reach the deck, maybe I need to check this, like about 350 meters height of the deck. You can reach by the elevator just by a few minutes, let's say 3 minutes or so.
Wow.
Because the speed is, the maximum speed is 600 meters per minute.
Wow.
So it's very fast, and you can see the downtown of Tokyo. And if you're lucky, you can see the Mount Fuji if the weather is clear.
It's clear. Yes. Oh, that's
Yes,
fantastic.
you
So
can
it gives
see.
you
Oh,
like the
there's
whole,
Mount Fuji.
yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
And then, also still in the center of Tokyo, there is a Tokyo Imperial Palace, just a few walks from the Tokyo station. It is a home to the Japanese emperor and family, with a very huge garden, which is very popular as a sakura viewing spot. And also they have a very nice autumn foliage during the autumn. It's very nice, very great. And everyone can go to the garden and see,
Oh,
oh, that's the emperor's home.
oh, that's fantastic. I,
Yes. And the last, which you guys have to visit when in Tokyo, is Shibuya for sure. Because Shibuya is one of the busy districts in Tokyo, and also the birthplace of the teenagers, the youth culture, and also the fashion. And like you can blend with the how busy the Shibuya is by being in the Shibuya crossing and explore like a large department store and fashion stores, and also take pictures with the Hachiko statue, and you can do many more. And also for information about the prayer space, there is a large department store in Shibuya who have a prayer space there, and very beautiful, also with voodoo place.
wow, that's fantastic. So you
Very
can
nice.
actually go shopping, you can go explore, and then you don't have to worry about where you're gonna pray. They have it in the shopping mall. That's
Yes,
brilliant. That's brilliant.
exactly.
So would you say there it's easy to find, for example, halal food while you're in Tokyo, or like is there something the Muslim travelers there should be aware of in terms of like what to eat, what not to eat, kind of where to
Mhm.
find places? Because I know in many different parts of the world, like you can have halal, but then you have non-halal at the same place, etc. So is there
Yes.
something that you have to be mindful, and how easy it is to find halal food?
So in Tokyo, it's pretty easy to find halal food actually, because actually most of halal restaurants are started in Tokyo. So like compared to 4 or 5 years ago, it's pretty easy to find halal foods right now. And actually, the company I'm working for now is developing a search website and application called Halal Gourmet Japan, where you can easier to find close halal restaurants and shops within Japan. So maybe for me, when I got some inquiries about how to find halal food in Japan, so I would suggest them to download the application and do search by GPS. So they don't need to put their address or everything. Just turn on the application and voila, there is a halal restaurants near you. Like,
Oh, that's fantastic. So I will leave the link
yeah.
for the application below, because obviously if you're planning a trip, that's a fantastic thing to do. So it's
Oh,
easy, and
thank
then you
you.
don't have to worry about where you're going to find halal food, or you just open the application and you find it. And that's why I love
Yes.
technology, because it makes life so much easier for Muslim travelers these days.
Yes, it's pretty easy. And I'm very happy that my company wants to develop that kind of application because it's very helpful actually for
Yeah,
me too.
yes. If they add
Mhm.
prayer places, that would be even better. That would be one stop.
Actually, yes. Actually, they have a pair space function there,
Okay, okay.
also from GPS.
Okay, that's fantastic. So then
Mhm.
they can download and then they can find all the information because it's very important. You don't have to stress about it. You can just type it in. Would you say that it's a safe place to visit as a Muslim traveler? Like, would it be safe to travel and as a solo female traveler or as a family?
Mhm.
Would you feel safe to go?
Yes, definitely yes. Even though I came back home like 12 o'clock at night, so nobody will touch me, nobody will like disturb me or something, because Japan is very safe, and also you know that Japan has a very low rate of criminals. So even for solo traveler, no, you don't need to worry. Just came to Japan and you can enjoy it to the fullest.
I love this. That's fantastic. Come to Japan.
Yeah, fantastic.
I want to
Come,
go
come,
to
come,
Japan.
come. Come, welcome,
So,
welcome.
I mean, Japan is famous for like their transportation and the bullet trains and everything. But
Yes.
inside the city, is it easy to navigate through the public transport, or would you recommend that you take Ubers or taxis or whatever around the city when you're exploring?
For my suggestion, better to go with the public transportation like JR or metro, Tokyo Metro,
Yeah.
subway, because like almost all the sightseeing spots are located close to the station. So you just can go out to the station and there's the station, there is the sightseeing spot. So it's pretty easy to go anywhere in Tokyo, especially.
Oh,
So you
that's
don't need to go for renting a car or else. Just go with public transport.
public transport. It's
Yes,
cheaper
and
too.
it's pretty. Yes, it's cheaper, and you can get like a good experience. Like, oh, I'm in Japan right now. You can feel that feeling.
You know what? I do that. I sometimes stop, especially if I'm in a public transport, and then obviously you can see local people better. It's nicer. You kind of see what their life is like. I always sometimes stop and
Yes.
I'm like, oh wow, I'm in this place. That's so cool.
Yes. And also maybe you can get yourself surprised with how silent the train are. I mean, inside the train.
Really?
People not talking. Yes. People just keep silent, like reading a book or like playing with their phone or listening to the music.
Wow.
Nobody will talk.
I'm looking
Very
forward.
silent.
That's so cool. I mean, I know Japan in general has so many places to see, and but would you say that Tokyo is a family-friendly destination? So if you have family to bring, would there be something to
Mm,
kind of occupy the children so that they don't,
mm,
because you can't take little kids around
mm, mm, mm,
museums
mm.
and shopping centers all the time. They need parks and running, etc.
Yeah.
So do you consider it as a family-friendly destination for travelers?
In my opinion, yes, because me also have a little girl right now, and I was also surprised about how great is the facilities that Tokyo have, especially for those with strollers, so you can get the slope. So you
Oh,
can
nice.
just go with the strollers, go to the platform of your station you want to depart. Also, baby rooms are everywhere. So
Fun.
it's very nice. And also you can see so many families traveling to Tokyo, like the Japanese themselves, also for the travelers, Muslim travelers.
That's brilliant. I think one of the things I like about Japan, and it goes back to kind of like the public transport, but they're always so considerate about other people and their needs basically. And I saw that even when I was studying. It's a
Oh,
totally different culture. I actually remember when my teacher was, because I was studying in Greece, and the Greece is pretty much the opposite of Japan, like in terms of punctuality and like
okay, yeah.
services, etc.
I see.
But I remember once we were like, and we were talking about the public transport, and we're learning the hours and the times, etc. And we asked our teacher, so how do you say, the train is coming around 10:30? And she was like, no, 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 we don't have around. We have exact times, and we have exact
Yes.
schedule.
Yes.
We don't have
Yes.
approximately around. It's everything is exact. And
Yes, exactly. We are like that.
I think that is a fantastic thing for us though. As Greeks, that was so different, and so we couldn't understand. It was like, how can you not have around? So I guess if you go to Japan, just be considerate that everything's on time, everything is like done nicely, and they have that consideration about other people and their
Yes.
needs. What do you like about Japan? Obviously, I know you live in Japan and you're local, but what would you say that you like about Japan that other people should kind of know about it before they visit?
Okay. So, what I love is how beauty the city itself. The Japan in the general, but like for example, like Tokyo is not only with skyscrapers or very busy trains, it's also have a number of like huge gardens, very beautiful gardens with sakura there, or also with momiji. Momiji is like five leaves,
Yeah.
five shape like this, and which will go yellow or red in the autumn. And it's very nice. It's like an oasis in the city. What I feel great about is even though they do all in modern, all in very nice technology, but they also consider to the nature.
That's good.
So that is like other countries need to learn to from Japan, I think. So that's a very impressed me a lot.
That's true. When do you think is the best time for travelers to visit Tokyo?
According to the travelers themselves, for example, like the Southeast Asia, where it's only summer all all years, so maybe for them it's better to go to Japan for autumn or winter, for example, so they can experience another season,
Yeah.
not summer only.
Yeah.
But if you are, for example, from Europe, which you also have the four seasons, I would like to suggest to visit Japan during spring. The sakura is super beautiful. It's very beautiful.
It's the time I want to visit. I mean, I had some friends that went during blossom season, and all of their photos were
Mhm.
amazing of how they looked. So yeah, so spring for us then from Europe.
Yes. Yes, spring is definitely must visit season.
Oh, thank you so much for all your tips. I have final two questions for you. Give me
Okay.
any insider tips about the culture or the things we have to be mindful as travelers to Tokyo or Japan in
Mhm.
general. Because obviously it's a very different culture from people coming from Europe. So, do you want to share something in terms of what we have to be mindful for, or what we should do, kind of nice gestures, etc.?
Yes, actually, I have three of them because
Fantastic.
these three are very important for the Muslim travelers when coming to Japan, which I also would like to suggest for everyone who inquire me directly about what should I be careful about when coming to Japan. So these three are: the first is do prepare yourself with cash, because like even though it's Japan is a very modern and metropolitan country, but there are still some conventional places which are only accepting cash.
Okay.
So be ready with cash everywhere you go. And the second is like if you find yourself struggle to find halal foods in Japan, everywhere in Japan, so don't hesitate to communicate to the staff, to communicate your needs to the Japanese themselves. So they would like to hear you. Oh, so you can eat this, but you cannot eat this. So I will prepare my the meals like this. Is it okay with you? Like
Oh,
they
that's
would like to
fantastic.
communicate with you. Yes, just to communicate. Even though in very little Japanese or with the translator, do everything to communicate. And the last is if you hard to find prayer space everywhere, like you don't find mosque nearby. So this is a trick that we are usually using. Like find Uniqlo or GU, pick some clothes and go to the fitting room and pray there.
I love
That's
this.
the trip.
I love this because this is such a universal thing we do. We do exactly the same on the other side of the world.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I have is, do they have music? Because some stores around Europe, they have such a high volume of music that you can't even concentrate on your prayer. So in some
Yes,
stores
yes.
it doesn't work. But I guess in Japan it works.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, sometimes in fitting room the music is lower, not
Yeah,
that strong like in the display. So
yeah. Ah, brilliant. I love this tip. And I think it's a fantastic tip, and I thank you so much for your time that you spent, and you shared all these things about Tokyo and the places to visit, and the application. I'm gonna make sure that I leave it at the description for people to download it so they can see it. I will also leave your
thank
YouTube and your
you.
Instagram and your blog, because you've been fantastic. And please, guys, do make sure that you check her YouTube and you check her Instagram and you check her blog and show some love and subscribe. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our series and my YouTube channel. So please do subscribe, because there are more coming of different places around the world. Zanaya, thank you so, so much. Jazakallah khair. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
And I really appreciate the time, because we do have a time difference and you took the time to record it with me. So thank you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.